ChatGPT said, "You want to know the craziest thing about power? Sometimes the sharpest mind in the room is the one holding a mop." Yeah, you heard me right. Because the day Rachel Evans changed the game for Boston's top law firm, nobody saw her coming. You mean to tell me none of you can fix this? That's Michael Grant, CEO, practically breathing fire in a boardroom packed with 11 of the city's most expensive lawyers. The tension? You could cut it with a butter knife. The issue? Clause 38B, a time bomb buried in a contract with the Renshaw Group. If they didn't disarm it, $60 million and a sterling reputation were going up in smoke. All eyes locked on each other until the janitor showed up with her mop bucket and a Garfield shirt that read, "I'm only awake because coffee exists." Rachel wasn't supposed to be there. Someone spilled water in the panic, and she drew the short straw. She kept her head down, soaking up the mess, trying to stay invisible, while above her, the suits played legal ping-pong, shouting, sweating, insisting there was no way around this clause. But she glanced up at the whiteboard, Clause 38B, written all backwards and chaotic. Before she could stop herself, she mumbled, "That's not a locked clause. You ever hear a record scratch in real life?" That was it. 11 heads snapped her way. Michael's voice dropped, cold, sharp. "What did you just say?" Rachel stood, still clutching her towel. "It's not locked. It contradicts Article 127 of the Federal Contract Code. You trace it through Section 14, and it folds in on itself." Silence, like snow. One attorney scoffed. "This is a legal discussion, not a janitorial conference." Rachel shot back with a half-smile, "Yet I'm the only one who noticed how this clause breaks if you follow Section 14. Michael's eyes narrowed. "How do you know that?" She shrugged. "I read a lot. A retired law professor from my building gave me his books when he moved to Florida. I read a chapter every night after I put my son to bed." Another lawyer snickered. "You read law textbooks for fun?" Rachel didn't miss a beat. Beats watching people pretend to argue in court on TV. That one stung. Michael moved closer, something unreadable in his gaze. "Did you study law?" 3.5 years, she admitted, but life got in the way. He said nothing, just, "Explain it to me again." And she did, cool and steady, breaking down Clause 38B in a way that turned every Ivy League head in the room. She even cited a precedent from Garvin versus Dakota Energy, right down to the page number in Professor Warren Blake's book. When she was done, Rachel picked up her bucket, tossed out a little joke about buying a suit at a thrift store, and headed for the door. Michael called after her, "Miss Evans, I want to speak with you in my office." Rachel flashed a crooked smile. "Be honored. But fair warning, the floor is still wet." Inside his office, with its designer silence and views that could make anyone feel small, Michael handed her a tablet. "What do you see in this clause?" She picked it apart in seconds. "It's a trap, not a good one. Violates Article 21. He pressed harder, gave her another one about asset protection. She tossed that out. 2, violated good faith, thrown out 3 times. Michael just stared, like he'd found a storm bottled up in faded jeans and a coffee-stained shirt. "What's your son's name?" "Aiden. He thinks I'm a superhero because I can open peanut butter jars." Michael actually laughed. "No one can know you're helping me," he whispered. Rachel grinned. "So I'm your confidential clause cleaner?" "Strategic ally," he corrected, and as she left, nobody realized she'd just turned the whole world upside down. The next day, Rachel walked in, same mop, same walk, but people noticed. Maybe it was the way the junior paralegal offered her coffee, or how HR smiled and quickly looked away. Upstairs, the panic had reset. New clause, new disaster. Michael grilled his team. Why hadn't the reversibility clause been updated since 2017? Why was it conflicting? Again, nobody answered. This time, Rachel strolled in with a tray of coffees and a yellow folder. She handed Michael a memo. Section 38B cross-references a clause made obsolete by new federal guidelines. In its current form, it leaves a back door for Renshaw to claim an unfair advantage. Total silence. Daniel Parker, the senior lawyer, asked where she got the analysis. From reading while scrubbing the 5th floor, she replied. The documents had been in the trash. Michael asked what she'd do to fix it. She handed over a revised draft, clean, airtight. Ashley Brooks, the firm's deputy director, narrowed her eyes. "You didn't sign an NDA." Rachel stayed cool. If you'd rather I stay quiet, I will. But silence doesn't win trials. Michael stood. Let's continue this in my office. Behind closed doors, he finally admitted, you're not just helping, you're leading. Rachel smiled, just showing you what you already knew. Michael confessed, I've had Ivy League grads screw up less complicated cases. But you see the law like music. You hear when something's off. Rachel explained why she knew so much. Her dad, a construction worker, died in a side accident. The company blamed him. Her mom didn't know how to fight back, but Rachel decided to learn. 2 years later, she won enough to open a dress shop for her mom. Michael told her, you should be the one in court. Rachel shook her head, no license, just a passion for justice. Michael said, you already gave us everything we need. That night, long after everyone left, Rachel stayed at her new desk, a quiet office, no plaque, just hers. Michael stopped by with coffee, admitted he couldn't sleep. She drilled him, prepped him for every question the opposing counsel might throw. As he left, he asked, why help me? Rachel answered, because for once, someone saw me. Monday, Boston's Superior Court was bursting at the seams. Rachel, in a navy blouse and slacks, wasn't even supposed to be there. But Michael told her, don't be late. The trial was a war. Michael held strong until the opposing team dropped a surprise precedent, Torres versus Infinity Holdings. Michael froze, but Rachel whispered the answer, partial, not full modification. Article 127, paragraph 3. Michael snapped back, used her insight to dismantle the argument. The judge, impressed, ruled in their favor. 60 million saved. The Renshaw Group left stunned. Outside, Michael handed Rachel an envelope and offered to become his legal advisor. Office, salary, the works. She looked up. That's a big change. So is what you did for us, Michael said. No more hiding. She grinned. Fine, but I'm not wearing heels. The firm threw a pizza party. No speeches, just laughter. Later, Michael apologized for ever doubting her. Rachel shot back. You're not the first to underestimate me, but you might be the first to admit it. They sat together, letting the night settle, a rare, honest peace between two people who'd rewritten the rules. Weeks later, Rachel was teaching at the Brookside Community Center, this time as herself, not in secret. Michael watched her from the back, just another guy in jeans, proud and unhidden. Her story spread, the janitor who cleaned up corporate law. 6 months on, she re-enrolled in law school part-time, this time for her. When she passed the bar, Michael showed up with a library card and a cake. She laughed, took you long enough, and they kissed, finally. No fear, just the quiet truth that sometimes the best minds are the ones nobody expects. So, let's talk. Does brilliance need a diploma, or is it about what you actually do when it matters? If Rachel's story got you thinking, drop a 100 in the comments, tell us where you're watching from, and share this video if you want more people to hear stories that flip the script on power and possibility.